You're listening to the Gap Podcast with your host, me, Morgan McGill. As we talk God and politics, my prayer is that you're inspired and encouraged to be a part of filling the God-sized gap in the political sphere. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to The Gap. I'm your host, Morgan McGill, and I'm very excited for today's guest. She is in the marketplace part of politics, which is totally different than some of the other things that we've been talking about so far. But I'm really excited for this new, fresh perspective because it's very important. We vote with our dollar as well. So, Christina Werner, thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks for having me. Your studio is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. And you just got back from a presidential debate. How was that?
I did. I just got back from the Freedom Summit in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. It was fun. It was fun to see the energy in the room, fun to see all the different types of politicians, and just to realize that everyone's on their journey of trying to do their best and love America. And it's fun to run into a bunch of old friends too.
Yeah, that's always fun. That was always my favorite part of like going to political conferences like CPAC.
Yep.
Like seeing so many people that you love that you only see once a year
Yep.
at these conferences. But amazing. You are heavily involved in Public Square. You helped start it. And I wanted to know how that even came about. How did you end up deciding that this is something that you wanted to do?
Sure. Well, I would say it's a great question. It was definitely 100% a good friend of mine, Michael Seifert, who's the CEO. This was all his idea. It's something that he had been thinking about for probably about 10 years, 10, 15 years. And, to make a long story short, pandemic, all these things coming together, he goes, we just need to start it. So I remember when he was talking to me, my husband, I'm like, but I'm not a tech developer. I don't know applications. I give my 14-year-old my phone and say, hey, fix my app. So I can't do tech. And he goes, no, that's okay. We hire the CTO, but I just need to know the people that are going to be in this with me are in it for the right reasons, passionate about this, and are not going to give up. And I said, sold. I can do that. Yeah.
And so how did you get involved in this? Like, what was it that sparked in your heart? When did that shift happen for you to say, I need to get politically active in this space? So,
two things. One, I actually remember going to a church that was not mine. I went to the Rock Church. This was years ago. Maybe 10 years ago. Rock Church, Miles McPherson was speaking, and he started giving the stats of how many Christians do not vote, or if they do, they're only voting for the presidential election, and that's it. They don't know anything about their local politics. They don't know anything about their local school board. And I actually sat there feeling super convicted. I was like, ooh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's totally me. I'm like, well, and my excuse was always, if I can't learn everything about this candidate, I don't want to make an uneducated vote, so I'm just not going to vote at all. And that was totally my position. And I left that sermon going, gosh, like I need to care. Yeah. This is my community. Like I will have kids. I need to get involved, and I need to at least just take the time to understand who's the candidates in the area, and at least just start voting. Yeah. So that was my first start, just getting into politics, just to vote. But it matters. Yeah. And the statistics it was actually really sad to see that, gosh, if every Christian, if every believing believer chose to actually get out of their seats and vote, like it would make a huge difference.
You could change elections.
Huge difference. Yeah. So I was like, well, I can't change everyone's opinion, but I can do mine. Yeah. So that was kind of step one. Step two, probably I am like just the typical mama bear during the pandemic, right? We all weren't super involved in our local school boards. We were kind of doing our own thing. This pandemic hits. Suddenly they're telling you your kids have to be masked up. Well, have to. It really is the parent's choice. All this stuff was going on. And I was just one of the very many parents in America that said, not my child. You can do other things, but as soon as you start messing with children, it just strikes a nerve in most parents, especially moms. So the mom bears came out. They came out to play during this pandemic.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Good. I mean, we saw a lot of moms come out and to speak at school board meetings and to start homeschooling and to start, groups of people who were homeschooling together. It was a big movement.
I did all of those. Which I had never done before. But sure enough, nothing like starting, being a part of a tech startup and then also deciding to pull your children from school and homeschool at the same time, which, is just the Lord's goodness to make it happen. The kids are still alive.
Amen. And honestly, they're probably better off.
Yes, they sure are. Yep.
So you decided to go... You decided to partner with Michael and to launch Public Square during the pandemic. And how did that unravel?
So a quick backstory just to kind of highlight the need of Public Square. Michael had a faith-based political podcast and noticed two major things. People just feeling alone. People that tend to hold more traditional Judeo-Christian values, conservative values, they just feel alone. And he would get this feedback. Gosh, I think I'm the only one in my neighborhood. I think I'm the only one in my area. And he goes, no, statistically, you're not. There's thousands of people that voted the way you vote. They're just being quiet about it. You're only hearing one side, this, small, loud voice. So he goes, gosh, we really just need to make these people feel like they're not alone. And then the second issue he would get often is, okay, I know Nike's blatantly supporting sweatshops in China. I know that Starbucks is donating to Planned Parenthood, but where's a coffee shop that's maybe not? Maybe they're not even bringing politics into their coffee. They're just serving coffee, or maybe it's veteran owned, or they donate time to the Pregnancy Resource Center, or where is a shoe company that is not donating, to super leftist causes. Not saying they have to donate to any political cause, but, if so, probably more pro-America, or maybe they're just selling shoes. So those were the kind of issues that we felt. And then the pandemic obviously was stripping away rights from these business owners. So it was even more of this push of like, gosh, we just got to start this now. Yep. So that started
we have to help these companies who are like saying no to the government.
Yeah. And we knew there were plenty of businesses in San Diego that were staying open. This is how they fed their family. They're not saying you have to come in and use my services, but gosh, this is how I feed my family. So my business will stay open. And government, you are not the source of my rights, so you can't take them away.
Amen.
And we went, yes, we need to go support those businesses.
Yes, we're going to help you.
It was, I would say, God timing for it, for sure.
Yeah.
To start.
And we were talking about this earlier about how we vote with more than just our vote. We vote with our dollar, and the importance of supporting businesses who support our values for that reason is, like you said, Starbucks gives a lot of money to Planned Parenthood. Are you still going to Starbucks? And
absolutely not.
No, but
No.
So it's like, are you, if you're pro-life, how could you in good conscience go to Starbucks and stuff like that?
I truly feel most of the time it's maybe a lack of, or maybe I'm just being hopeful, but a lack of education, on people's parts. Like, gosh, if you really knew that some Starbucks were matching employee contributions to Planned Parenthood, would you really go there? Would you write a check from your own bank account to Planned Parenthood as a Christian? Hopefully not. So then why would you take the time, to go give your money to an organization that is? So hopefully when you start to educate people on, they know, and now they have an alternative. So kind of prior to Public Square, it was like, well, okay, so I know, where Starbucks is standing now, but where do I find a company? How do I know? Am I going to take the time to vet and verify all these businesses? That's a full-time job. We have 5 people in our office that do that. It's multiple full-time jobs. So it really is nice to be able to give people, say, hey, here's some alternatives. And if you don't see something in your neighborhood, help us build that. If you know a business,
step in.
Yeah, step in and help it. So that's probably my biggest call to action is people in their local communities. And they're like, well, there's not a lot on Public Square as far as coffee or restaurants or hair salons. It's like, shoot, do you know someone from your church that would want to be on there, that would be blessed by having a community of conservative people support them? Like, have them join. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Friends, in over 15 years in the political sphere, I cannot tell you
how many times I've seen amazing men and women forego running for office because they have no idea where to start. And on the other side of that, I can't tell you how many times I have seen amazing candidates fumble the ball so hard because they have no idea what they're doing when they decide to run for office. That is why I founded Revival Consulting. The heart of this company is to help God-fearing men and women get elected to local, state, and federal office, because we see a country where the men and women in positions of political power and influence know and love God. If that's you, if you're considering running for office but you have no idea where to start, or you need help, go to itsrevival.com and fill out our consultation form, because we want to help you. We need your voice now more than ever. If you have seen anything that's going on in the world today, you know that you were put on this planet for such a time as this, and we need you. So please don't hesitate. Go to itsrevival.com and fill out our consultation form today. Well, there's a lot of small business owners who are probably listening right now and have no idea how to even get on Public Square, or are thinking to themselves, I want to start a small business because there isn't a conservative coffee shop in my area, and I think that I could fill that gap. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, it's very simple, and I actually get asked that quite often.
Well,
yeah,
good.
I do. I have business owners come to me, gosh, I've really wanted to get on Public Square. I just assumed it cost, X, Y, and Z. I said, no, it's actually absolutely free. It is 100% values-based. We decided during the pandemic, we can't ask businesses for money, and we won't. So we'll never ask a business for money. When they're signing up, there's a process you can check if you would like to advertise with us, and then, look into that. But we need to be available just for the average mom and pop family-run business that is just trying to live their American dream and have a business in America. So you can just head to publicsquare.com or publicsq.com. Right there
on the shirt.
And it's very simple. You'll find a button that says add my business. It's probably about less than a 10-minute process to add your business. It does not go live right there because, again, we genuinely are checking these businesses just to make sure they're not using this as free advertising. But to the best of our ability, we want to make sure these businesses are genuinely values aligned with our conservative values.
Amen, because you don't want people who use your platform because of that, and then all of a sudden, that would.
Yeah, and I'll get asked to quite often, like, well, do you really deal with that? Not so much. It doesn't make sense for someone who doesn't believe in what we're doing to want to try to jump into this. They tend to not want to. Every once in a while, we'd have something like a restaurant. Let's say like the server asked people to mask up during the pandemic, and they'll come back and say, wait a minute, but I found you on Public Square. To be honest, the owner's always super grateful that somebody was willing to give feedback, because then it's usually just a miscommunication. The owner has to go, oh gosh, I didn't know my server was asking people to do that. Hey, we actually believe in people's freedom of choice at this restaurant. If you'd like to keep your job, just maybe don't discriminate between anyone's medical status. So the few times that's happened, it's actually just been a blessing in disguise to help the business owners run their business the way they want to.
Yeah, and to know what their employees are actually doing.
Yep.
Oof, that would be rough as a business owner to find that out. So on the other side of that, what would you say to people listening right now who say, well, I know I vote with my dollar. I know I should vote with my dollar, but aren't really feeling that conviction to do so?
Yeah, we were talking about that too, the conviction over convenience. That's a hard one for people. But I would hope that people start to realize, just like I felt when I listened to Miles give those stats at that church one time about not voting, you really can make a difference. And if you need the biggest examples of what's going on right now, if you've noticed the stock change in Target and Bud Light, if that just shows you when America says enough is enough, I am not Disney. I am not going to support that. I'm not taking my children. I will not get that type of beer. I want to say we had a 800% increase on the search term beer after Bud Light came out with their Dylan Mulvaney
On
ad.
Public Square?
Yeah, 800% increase. Yes. So it just shows you, once it's something that actually does really catch your conviction, people will shift their dollars. So just know, even if it's, and I don't want people to feel like this has to be daunting. For instance, I had gotten a gift card to Starbucks from a friend that was a teacher, and I just politely said to her, I said, "Oh, thank you so much. I just want you to know we don't shop there as a family because this is where they donate to and what they do." And I mean, I've even seen a Starbucks where it looked like trans imperialism inside. It was like flags everywhere, and she goes, "Oh gosh, I had no idea." Well, that put her down the rabbit trail of looking at all the corporations that donate to Planned Parenthood. She got overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, my shoes, my hat, my mortgage, my everything. What I have to eat today. I have to put on clothes. Like, where do I even start? Do I throw everything away? And it's like, no. I appreciate someone that wants to just jump in and do it, but just start with one purchase. Mm-hmm. Just stop going to the Starbucks or find a local coffee shop, even if it's $1 or $5. It doesn't have to be you switch your bank tomorrow. You don't have your mortgage anymore. You throw away all your Patagonia stuff. You throw out your Nike. No, maybe just next time don't buy it. Yeah. So even for me, as a mom and a wife and a female, in my bathroom, I would, as my kids ran out of something or I ran out of something, the next time around, I would just purchase it from a Public Square business. My shampoo, my toothbrush, my toothpaste, my lotion. I'm kind of simple on my products anyway, but it's really cool each morning when I wake up and I see on my counter, I know I'm supporting businesses that all share my values. They are not donating to anything evil or nasty. They're beautiful people. In fact, probably one of the things I wish we could somehow do on Public Squares, when you click on a business, I wish you could just know the story, the backstory, the families. Like, they're incredible businesses. They're incredible people. And I feel good about giving my money to them.
You're getting emotional.
Like,
it's beautiful.
Oh, you're amazing people, and so I love that. And it doesn't have to be this huge shift. It can just be the next one purchase you make. Just know it actually makes an impact.
I love that as you were saying that, you look like you were getting emotional, like you almost have like tears in your eyes.
There really are so many amazing businesses.
I think that you should pitch that to Michael and be like, we need to add a little bio section.
Yeah.
Public Square.
No, I've already looked into some technology that they have. And again, that's not my department, but looked into some technology of like, okay, how do we add a button that kind of shows you just some of the behind the scenes, because you would absolutely spend an extra $5 to get something that's made in America when you know the person that's making it and who they're feeding and how they're serving their community. You would absolutely drive an extra 2 miles to go to a business when you know where their money's being donated to, when you know the church that they're serving at, when you know the little league that they're donating to. Starbucks isn't doing that. Target's not donating to your local little league, but these small businesses are. So it's very sweet. Yeah.
I love
And we all can be a part of it. We all get to be a part of it, whether you know it or not. When you vote with your wallet, you do.
I love that.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
So I do want to give you an opportunity to speak from your heart as we come to a close on whatever you would like to say to people listening who are like feeling overwhelmed, don't know where to start. Maybe they feel like you did when you heard Miles 10 years ago. Like, what would you say to someone listening who's in your shoes 10 years ago?
Sure. If you would have asked me if I would be in the position I'm in now, doing what I'm doing, just left a conference with Trump and DeSantis and all these people and the people I'm connected with now, I would have never guessed, would have never thought, like, me, just little me, like, I'm a mom, a wife, I like to wakeboard and play volleyball, what do I have to do with politics or the marketplace even, or technology even? But I would just say God's given us all, we've all been through different journeys and things. When I look at my life and the places I've been, the past jobs I've had, the reasons I've been in places I've been, when I was like, God, why are we serving at this Christian camp in Northern California? Why are we, traveling the world for a past job? It is also connected, and he has reasons for everything, right? So fast forward, you go, oh, okay, Lord, That's why you had me meet X, Y, and Z. That's why you had me go serve at this camp. And it's really great to be in a season where I can just say, I completely trust the journey, be in on the adventure. Just know, like, when you are open-handed with what God's given you and you're just willing to pivot, stay tight to your mission. If God has given you a particular mission, like, okay, Lord, and not giving up. Like, I won't give up. Believe me in this journey. How many times I've been like, this is so hard. But it's like, no, he's going to equip you when you need to be equipped. So just stay open-handed and say, whatever it is. And even if that's a season of raising your kids or, starting a business, it doesn't have to be starting some huge tech platform. It doesn't have to be running for Congress. It could be whatever he has in front of you at the moment. Just know that he has you in that spot and just take the next step. Like, again, I still to this day don't know tons about technology, right? And so it is kind of funny to say I've been a part of a tech startup, but just he gives you and equips you with what you need. And so I think just staying obedient to that and being like, okay, Lord, you've got me on this journey. Wherever you might start, he's probably has so much more for you that maybe it's good that he doesn't tell us all the things ahead of time, right? That you just take the next step and just be open-handed to it. But he's good. He's a good God. He just wants people that are willing to jump in, hold his hand, and go on some crazy adventures with him.
So good. And I do want to encourage everyone listening, because she's not kidding. She handed me her phone when it started ringing in the middle of this podcast because she didn't know how to put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yep.
So
true story.
The only person who disqualifies you is yourself.
Yeah. That is so
you
true.
don't have to know everything about everything. If God calls you into something, he'll make a way.
I'm totally going to botch this quote, but Bill Johnson talks about basically like the Lord qualifying the unqualified, or kind of what you were just saying. But it is really that sometimes when you're like, gosh, am I really the person qualified to get on stage or to do this or to speak about that? That's who he tends to use.
Yeah.
If you have a willing heart to do it, then he's going to use you. So
yeah, I mean, you look back at people in the Bible too. Moses.
Yes.
Didn't want to even speak. He's like, I have a speech impediment, God. I can't go to the Pharaoh and talk to him. Yeah. And then David, he was like the runt of his family, and he was a shepherd. Like he didn't, who was he to kill Goliath and to become a king? So it's like God always, I mean, the only person who disqualifies you is yourself.
It's very true.
But thank you so much for being on with me today. Sure. Thank you so much for stepping into the unknown, because you have already made such a big difference with what you guys are doing at Public Square. And and thank you for your heart.
Yeah.
For businesses and your heart for people. And
I do love people, but that's just something that's just how he made me. So I love that I get to do what I do and meet so many amazing people and businesses. It really is a joy. Yeah.
So everyone, download Public Square and start voting with your $1. That's your call to action today.
That's right. Super easy.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to share it and make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss an episode. Now go out in the world and make disciples. We'll catch you in the next one.